What did you know about the Wisconsin program before coming here? How familiar were you with it?
Well, just with the football tradition, the power running game, opportunities to go to the Rose Bowl, Big Ten champions. You know, it looks great from the outside. Can't wait to get to know it from the inside.
What are some of the goals coming into spring ball for you guys then?
Establish an offensive identity, establish the quarterback position, and really just evaluate players, install the scheme, and looking forward to hitting the ground running.
That offensive identity, I mean, is it going to be like Wisconsin power football running? I mean, that's, you know, going to reinvent the wheel, or just, you know, keep with Wisconsin football? We are
going to be Wisconsin football through and through, but understanding that it's a player's game. It's going to be developed around the players' skills and their strengths, and you know, can't wait to identify those strengths and get going from there.
How far along are you in that process of identifying exactly what you have to do, what you can do with these guys? Still early?
Yeah, very early. Just trying to look through last year's game films, and you know, I had the opportunity to go to a couple practices there in Los Angeles. I was more there as a fan than I was a true evaluator, not being familiar with all the guys and who's who, but that'll be a fairly lengthy process here that I'm anxious to get going with. But right now, recruiting is the priority. But we have started watching film and evaluating the guys.
Gary talked about your ability to evaluate and be flexible if you need to. What's the key in terms of being able to know what you've got to work with, what works, what doesn't work?
Well, again, going back to what I said from the get-go, it's a player's game, and for us to say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, going to do this, without knowing exactly the personnel within the program, within the scheme, I think would be a big mistake. So we're anxious to play to our strengths, and right now we feel very confident that the ability to run the football, be a power football team, that is in place. But what more dynamics can we add to the offense, and it's all going to be player driven.
What intrigues you most about the quarterback situation here with 3 guys who've started this year and a highly touted redshirt freshman?
That's what I find intriguing. You know, it's going to be a very competitive spring, and we're looking to create some separation and identify a guy and build on it from there.
What did you learn about working with Gary in the past that made this opportunity attractive to work for him?
He's a first-class individual, very competitive, so anxious to work for him.
Do you think that comfort level is going to help? You know, and there's so many guys on the staff have worked with each other, and you think it'll be a fast start because of that? It should
ease the transition. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Many of these guys on the offensive side have gone through a transition last year with a new offensive coordinator. What's the most important thing for you to establish with those players as you lead up to spring, into the start of spring ball, to get on the same page?
Communication and trust is going to be absolute from the get-go. And I'm very sensitive to the fact that I am the 3rd offense coordinator in 3 years, and I'm going to try to take as much of the existing terminology, whether it was Coach Christ or Coach Canada, a combination of that, some of my stuff, but try to ease that transition as much as possible. But again, communication and trust is going to be critical to our success early on.
Do you plan on running 2 quarterbacks, or probably just 1?
In the long haul, 1 quarterback is always the best way to go, in my opinion. So hopefully we create opportunities for individuals to create separation in spring football, and you know, I'll lean heavily on Coach Andersen, his decision-making process when we name that starter. I'm not worried about having a starter named at the end of spring, but we prefer a 1 quarterback system, absolutely.
This might seem like a simple question, but when you think of a quarterback, what are some of the things that are essential in your mind?
Well, the things that you can see, athleticism and repetitive accuracy, the ability to make a fairly easy completion over and over and over. So we use the term repetitive accuracy there. We can see that stuff on film, but as you get into the meeting rooms and get to know young men, you know, what drives them, mental toughness, coachability, things of that nature. And that's why I'm anxious to get to know these guys in the program right now.
You've been at several different stops over the years. Would you like to put some roots down and stay at one place?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And my family would as well.
Think this might be the place?
This is the place. That's why I'm here.
From your experience, how much does an offensive system have to change when you go from a conference to a conference, and how much is what your beliefs are? They're going to work no matter what conference you're playing in? Well,
again, it's a player's game, so we've got to make sure our beliefs are matching the player's skills. And if you watch San Diego State the last couple of years, you're going to see a lot what you saw here in Camp Randall, what you saw on Saturdays here. And so we're going to start with that as a starting point, but then it's got to evolve and reshape as we identify strengths and weaknesses within the personnel.
Would you like to be a head coach someday?
I'm in no hurry to be a head coach.
Had there been conversations with Gary in the past about you guys working together again at some point, Andy?
No. No.
When the call came, were you surprised by it, or?
I was excited about it. I was excited about it. My wife wasn't, because it was about 6:30 on Christmas morning. So.
6:30 Christmas morning.
It was early. It was early.
Coach Andersen was asked at his press conference when he was introduced as the head coach about the difference between coming in where you're taking over a program and you're trying to build something from the ground up, where you have time and years to do that, as opposed to where you're jumping right into a 3-time defending conference champion that's looking to do it again the next year. Is there a difference in implementing an offense, what you throw at the kids, and speeding up that process, I guess?
Well, again, we want to do everything possible we can to ease the transition, whether it's Coach Andersen from the head coaching philosophy to our side of the ball, the offensive philosophy, making that transition as smooth as possible, because our goal is to compete right away for Big Ten and national championships. So.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.